Kia ora, Helen Brahms here coming to you live from Biloxi, Mississippi. Yes, today we changed locations. But first of all, happy leap year day. 29th of February only comes around every 4 years. So, a funny thing happened back in 2004 on this day. And unfortunately, Brad's not around, but I always said that. And when it happened, he says, "You're going to not let me forget this, are you?" And I went, "Absolutely not." So on the 29th of February, 2004, we'd been looking at replacement vehicles for him for some time. He had a Honda Accord, and we were looking for something that we could go traveling in as a family. We had the green minivan that was called Oscar. Muppets, think Muppets. And we knew we were going to be doing a big road trip later that year, but we didn't want to take the minivan with us. We wanted something different, something that would last Brad a while and we would all be comfortable in. And because the boys were getting bigger, they were growing up and in teenage years and that sort of stuff, we wanted something that they would be comfortable in as well. So we ended up test driving a GMC Yukon. It was dark blue. The guy called us up and says, "Hey, look," because we've been looking at them for a while. And so the guy called us up and said, "Hey, we've got one in the yard right now." He said, "It's everything that you wanted, but it does have a DVD player in there." And we were sort of like, "We really don't want a DVD player." But we thought, we'll go and have a look at it and test drive it and all that sort of stuff. So we take it for a test drive, we come back, and then Brad's standing back there and he's got his arms crossed like this and he's doing this and he's doing this and he walks up, kicks the tire and comes back and he stands back there. This is after the test drive and he's standing there and he goes, he says, "The dark blue," he says, "not a bad color. It's a really good color, that." He says, "But I really like that light blue strip on it. It looks really, really good." I had a look at this light blue strip and just about fell on the ground laughing. And he looks at me and he goes, "What's the matter with you?" And through laughing, I had to tell him that the light blue strip was the protective plastic that they had over the chrome work. And he looks at it, he looks back at me, he says, "You're not going to let me forget this, are you?" I went, "Nope." So that was the funny thing that happened and we did drive home that vehicle that day. So we did purchase the vehicle, drove it home. It served us very, very well. And I sold it before I moved out of the house. So it was April last year I sold it. So April 2019. So we had that car for 15 years. It had just under 200,000 miles on it. Brad used to drive it to work every day, 50 miles each way. It drove us across country from Virginia to California. We did a lot of road trips in it. It was a good vehicle, and it was still going strong. There wasn't anything mechanically wrong with it. So it had just under 200,000 miles on it when we sold it in April of last year. So we'd had that car 15 years. So that was the funny thing that happened on leap year day back in 2004. So today, what a day, what a day, what a day. Glad I had an extra day. So today we left Scott, Louisiana at 8:30. And thanks to my friend Jason. Oh, first of all, I have to apologize for being on early. I am exhausted. It has been a very long day, a very entertaining day, a very long day. And I'm basically going to have dinner and crash. Thankfully, it's a non-driving day tomorrow, which means, and it's also Sunday, which means we can sleep in. So we're good. So anyway, so we left Scott, Louisiana at 8:30 this morning. Was trying to get up by 8 o'clock. It didn't quite work because, I was a little cold getting out of bed this morning. The bed was nice and snuggly and warm, and when Zephy gets on top of the bed there and just snuggles up, it's sort of like, I don't want to disturb her. But we eventually got up and got moving, and once I got up, I got up at 7:30 got up at 7:15 and just moved. But the longest part of our day was, of course, taking her for a walk. And because she didn't have a dog park she could run in, we had to walk a little longer to help burn off some energy for the day. But I also knew that she'd get tired traveling in the RV because she usually does. She's now crashed out on the bed. Surprised she hasn't come out to see who I'm talking to. But that first few minutes in the RV till she settles down, if she hasn't expelled some energy, can be a little rough because she's like up on the seat, down on the bed, up on the seat, down on the bed, trying to get up on the dashboard, getting on the floor, up on the seat, And so we went for an extra long walk this morning. So that was why we were a little later getting away. But it was good. It was good. It was a beautiful morning. I did take some pictures of the lake this morning because it was stunning this morning with the morning sun on it. It was flat calm. There were ducks out there. There were a couple of big white ducks out there. No, they weren't geese or swans. They were ducks. It was just a gorgeous, gorgeous morning of the lake. So I'm going to post those later today. Probably tomorrow morning, to be honest. And then we hit the road. Now, thanks to my friend Jason, I now knew about the big, very narrow 20-mile long bridge that has no shoulders and frequently has accidents on it. And so we talked yesterday and he gave me an alternative route. So I thought this is definitely going to upset the GPS system. Because the GPS system that I use is RV Trip Wizard, which takes you on RV-friendly roads. And because it's got the measurements of the vehicle in there, it avoids where low bridges are. It takes you around the low bridges. If you don't want to go through tunnels, it won't take you through tunnels. And avoid toll roads if you want to avoid toll roads, that sort of stuff. And it also looks out for if there's any road restrictions, like if they only allow a vehicle of a certain width to go through there. Usually if they've got 10 feet, we're fine because we're only 8.5 feet, although I'm not sure what I am with the mirrors on. I know the body's 8.5 feet. Don't know about the mirrors. Never thought to think that. It might be 10.5 feet with the mirrors. Foot on each side. Maybe. Pushing it at 10 feet. So we went and and we went along the 10, and then I took the exit to go onto I-49 North, and this thing kept saying, at the next exit, exit in X number of miles, feet, whatever, take that exit, recalculating, go X number of miles and take this exit. And I was like, oh no. And so we finally got up to, so we drove 19 miles up the 49, and then we had to take the exit to go onto the 190, the US 190 East, and it wanted me to go west so it could then send me back down the 49 to the 10 to then take me along the 10, and I was like, no, not happening. So I went along the 190 East, and it was like, do a U-turn in 900 feet, recalculating, U-turn in 800 feet, recalculating, U-turn. And we had this for like 5 miles before it finally cottoned on that we weren't doing a U-turn. It was just, and I couldn't stop the thing. It was because then I would have to kick it back in when I needed it. But it finally caught up with us and figured out that we weren't stopping. And then we got just past, where did we get past? Just past Crotts Springs, and there's a great big long bridge. And they've actually got 2 long bridges, one going east, one going west, 2 lanes in each one. And we got on there and we're going along, and all of a sudden the traffic starts, we're getting along there. I'm not sure how long the bridge was, a few miles long, getting along there. And all of a sudden we start slowing up. And I'm like, what the heck? And then the truck in front of me moved to the left lane. When a truck moves to the left lane in front of me when I'm in traffic, I follow. Simple rule. I'm like, he's moved over there. He's obviously moved over there for a reason because he can see ahead. I can only see his back end. So I'm moving too. And we got a couple of miles down the road, and there was a police officer had a car pulled over in the right-hand lane because there's no shoulders. There are no shoulders on those bridges. And the lanes on this bridge are wider, and you've got the 2 lanes there. So we all dribbled past the police officer as he's doing his thing for pulling this person over for speeding, and gone a couple more miles and then get off the bridge. So that was our entertainment on that part. So then I had written directions of how to get to where I needed to go to get back to I was actually going to do it so I came out on the 12, but then the GPS kicked in. It actually took me the other way that I had thought about going. I thought, no, I'll just carry on until I get to the 12. But it took me down LA1 and to the 10 East, which was kind of cool because this is what happened. So we get down there. It then gives me the directions to get onto 10 East. So I get onto 10 East, and I'm coming on the on-ramp onto a bridge. And it's this gorgeous big blue bridge that looks like it's been put together with Meccano. So it's one of those steel bridges. And it had that one didn't have the steel plates. It was a different bridge. And as we're getting closer to the top of the bridge, all of a sudden I see a sign that says Mississippi River, and I thought, oh, I forgot I was going over the Mississippi River. So I'm driving along and I'm going, M-I-double-S-I-double-S-I-double-P-I. And I'm singing that the whole entire way across the bridge. It was a phenomenal view from up there. It was just absolutely magical. I mean, the scenery today was just gorgeous, and I'm still kicking myself that I don't have a dash cam at the front of the RV, but I am researching that to get one, so I will hopefully have one soon. But yeah, so went over the Mississippi River. It was awesome. Totally forgot that Baton Rouge was on the Mississippi, and I was like, oh, that was so cool. It was so cool. Then of course we carried on, and it turned from the 10 into the 12, into the I-12. So, and I knew at exit 6, because I'd already pre-planned this. I had my little cheat sheet with my exit thingies in that I taped to my dash so I can see it, since I don't have a co-pilot to navigate for me. And I knew at exit 6 that there was a PetSmart like 2 blocks up from the freeway. And we desperately needed to get Zephy some dog food, although it probably would have asked us to Pensacola, but I didn't want to push it. And so we stopped off at the PetSmart there, went in, went around, got her some treats, got her the ball thrower thingy, the frame that you put the ball on the top and you throw it and it goes further than my arm can throw, and got her the little frisbee disky thing with a little hole in the middle that she seems to like, and then what else did we get her? Got her some Himalayan salt sticks, salt chews that she loves, and she kept going out, and we're in this one aisle where the toys were. Rebecca's got here, you drove by and didn't stop and say, I thought you were in New Orleans. For some reason, I thought you were down in New Orleans. I didn't realize you're in Biloxi. Or near Biloxi. Where are you then? I'm sorry. I thought you were in New Orleans, and I didn't go down to New Orleans, so I'm sorry. Where are you, Rebecca? I'm sorry. I hate going on when I see messages pop up that say, you drove by me and you didn't stop and say hi. It's like, I'm sorry. It's like I've got a guy in Houston that I totally forgot he was in Houston. For some reason, I thought he was in Dallas. So I completely missed saying hi to him when I was in Houston. So I have a lot of apologizing to do people. So I'm just doing a blanket one. I have so many connections that half the time I don't remember where people are, and I know I should go in and put friends in. I do not remember seeing any signs for Slidell right before this Mississippi state line. Oh, I didn't know that. I honestly thought you were in New Orleans. Sorry. I'm sorry. I hate missing people. I would have stopped and said hi. We could have met for a cup of coffee or something, a cup of tea or something. Now I've lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, PetSmart. So we went around PetSmart, got her some treats, got her, and she kept sniffing at this toy, and it turns out to be this big purple dinosaur thing. I like to think it was Barney, but it's not a Barney-looking one. It's got the long neck, like a brontosaurus, the one with the long neck. And so I sung her the little Barney song, and she starts whining. She looks at me and whines, and I'm like, okay, we are no longer singing the Barney song with her. And then I went down the back because I had a Banfield in there, and I suddenly realized that I hadn't had a chance to get the Banfield insurance for her for when we travel, for when she needs any medical attention and stuff, because she's going to have some shots coming up soon that she needs, and it's good to have that because it's either included or you get a really hefty discount. I can't remember which. So I went there to see that. We got all of that taken care of. They transferred her records from California to Louisiana, and in doing so, I ended up saving like $12 a month because I had moved states with her records. I think it was 12, might have been 24 a month. I mean, no, it might have been 22. The other one ended in 6. I'll have to see if I can still find the paperwork from the, I'll find the paperwork from the other one, but it was like either $12 or $22 a month that I saved by moving it from California to Louisiana. I thought that was really cool. So I was like, what else can I move? Save money on. So that was really cool, got that. And then I saw the grooming thing there. So I popped in on the off chance because I know she needs her nails trimmed and she won't let me near them, and I don't want to touch them because she's got like these really light tan nails and her quick is almost the same color. So I went in there and I said, just popping in on the off chance. If you don't have time, that's not a problem. But my pup needs her nails trimmed, and I don't want to do it. They were like, and this girl happened to come back in, and they said, oh, are you coming back from lunch? She says, oh no, I've just been out there talking. And so she was able to quickly do Zephy's. Poor Zephy whined the entire time. I said, do you want me to come back there? And she was on the first table, and she says, do you want me to come back there and hold her for you? Because she kept backing away. And the woman says, no, you're not allowed back here. And I'm like, okay. So one of the other girls went over and held Zephy for a little bit and talked to her and calmed her down. And while she quickly did the back ones, and she was really good with the back ones, but when it got onto the front ones, she puts her head up on this girl's shoulder and she's looking at me with like, please get me the hell out of here. Why are you doing this to me? This is no fun. And that was that picture that I ended up posting. Poor thing. And so we got out of there, and we were actually there for an hour. So as soon as we finished, got everything back into the RV, got and locked down so it couldn't move around, and ended up getting back on the road. So we were there for an hour, got back on the road, carried on. Our next stop was at the Welcome Center in Mississippi at Exit 2. This was the coolest welcome center that I've been to. I mean, the one in Louisiana was awesome with the huge lake there and all the trees around it and the path that you could walk out to the picnic shelters on either side of the lake and that sort of thing. This was different in a different way. You came off the off-ramp and just came around this big circle and then went down like about a quarter mile and then turned in and came back towards the freeway on this road. We went past the gate and on the video I got this incorrect. So it was actually the NASA Infinity Science Center, not Space Center, as I said in the video live I did from the Welcome Center. But it was a massive thing. And as you come in, there's these signs saying no overnight parking, no overnight parking. Remember that in a moment. And the sign on the Science Center had was NASA Infinity Science Center. Then underneath it had where fun meets fascination. I thought, I like that. Where fun meets fascination. I like that tagline. So anyway, we got in there. We had lunch. Then we went for a walk. We did the Facebook Live from there. Beautiful trees in there, and I know it's going to look fantastic when it comes in. And we were on the side furthest away from the because when you come in, trucks go to the left, cars go around to the front side of it, which is closest to the freeway. They've got this big southern-looking building there that's got all the restrooms and stuff in, and they've got this big sign from the side we're coming. It says, no pets within 100 feet. And I'm like, well, I got no idea what 100 feet looks like. But they had all these beautiful picnic areas, like, picnic tables under trees. They had, then behind the truck area, they had this huge grass area where they had picnic shelters with tables underneath, and they had tables outside the picnic shelters as well. So when we left, we then went, and it's a huge area. I didn't count how many trucks could fit in there in that truck area, but there was quite a lot down. There was a long piece. And so we drove out of the truck area, went back around the loop, and as we came around the corner, and if there wasn't a vehicle following me, I would have stopped to take a picture of this. Actually, I probably could have pulled over on the base. But as I came around the corner, on each side, there were these parallel bays between islands. So you had the road piece coming in, then you had these little islands, and then you go the other side of the island, and there was a parking bay where you could park an RV or an RV and a trailer or a fifth wheel, that sort of stuff. And there was actually a fifth wheel parked there with no truck in front of it. But when we came in, it said no overnight camping. And so I was sort of like, they're giving you like RV bays where you can pull in, but you're not allowed to stay the night. I mean, there's no hookups. It would have been boondocking. But then they had this other picnic area over on the right-hand side where all these picnic tables were, and the little paths leading down from each of these little RV parking areas. And I thought this is such a cool welcome area. I thought, I definitely got to come back to this area and just explore it a little more. Because it was, and remember that those ones there, so I can go park there instead of where the trucks park, because there's no signs that said RVs this way. It says trucks and RVs to the left, or trucks, RVs, and trailers to the left, and cars go straight ahead. But there's nothing, once you get into the truck area, the truck parking area, that says RVs continue this way. It just says, you got the truck angle parking, and then it says buses this way. So once the buses to go along and park parallel with the footpath, so people can go in and use the restrooms and stuff. But then you go around and there's all this RV parking there, and there was probably about 20 bays in total, with about 10 on each side, maybe a little more than 10 on each side. So that was really, really cool. And like I said, there was a fifth wheel sitting there with no truck in front of it. So obviously they had left the fifth wheel, they had gone off to do whatever they needed to do, and they were going to then be coming back and picking up their fifth wheel. So I'm not sure if they were boondocking there or not, but it looked like it was set up to boondock. But like I said, when we came into the welcome area, it said no overnight staying. So I'm not sure if that's just in the truck area or if it meant the entire welcome area. So I don't know. I'll have to investigate that one. But it was really cool. And then we got on the road and continued on our way back towards where we had to go. And but before I've totally forgot this story. This was hilarious. So I have a CB radio in my RV. I've got one that still has to be hardwired into the RV, and I've got to find somebody to do that and put the external aerial up. But I also have a little handheld one that has a short aerial on it, and I can use it if I'm within a certain range of trucks, because then I can get their CB free feed. So after about 4 miles after we left, just after we left PetSmart, about a mile down the road, we hit 3 lanes of solid traffic. And so I'm just moving along for 4 miles. This went on for 4 miles. This truck driver gets on, and so I turn on CB radio to hear what's going on. Apparently the 2 right lanes up ahead had been blocked, so everybody's going to have to move over to the left-hand lane at some point, but not till 4 miles in advance. So 4 miles down the road, they had the 2 right lanes blocked, so everybody had to use the left lane. This truck driver was sort of like, what the bleep do you mean that a beeping truck has bleeped into an airplane? And I'm like, what? It's a truck that's an airplane? And he's like, how the bleep does a truck hit a bleeping flying plane? And I'm like, oh my God. Very colorful language this truck driver had, I tell you. And I'm just sitting there, and I just found it completely entertaining. I'm just cracking up laughing. And then he goes something on about a Trans Am, and I'm like, okay, is he talking about the car or what? And it wasn't until later on I got behind a truck that had Trans Am written on it. And so I'm wondering if that was him or if it was the truck that was in front of him when he was bleeping. But when we finally got up to what was happening, it was on this bridge. And you know on the bridge how they have the gaps to allow for expansion during the summer months when the heat and the bridge expands and everything else? They allow for the extra, so they have those little ruts that like that, and then they have these little metal strips that go into these ruts. Well, what had happened is one of these metal strips on one of the ruts had on halfway from the middle lane to the far right lane had come out and curled up. So you had this thing that was standing about 6-7 feet in the air because it had just curled up. And so they had that 2 lanes closed off with a cop there and a worker there while they're trying to figure out how, it's obviously been like this for a while because we were in a 4 mile backup. And that's what the thing was. Well, this truck driver gets back on the CB again and he's bleep. And I couldn't figure out what the words in between. I'm just cracking up laughing. So that was our entertainment then. Then we went to the welcome center, and then so we'd actually done 8:30 to 10:30 driving, an hour break. Then we got back in at 11:30. We got to the welcome center at 1:30. So we drove solid for 2 hours, and normally I've been driving for like an hour, but I was feeling really good, so I thought, I'm just going to carry on, keep going, see how far we can go before I need to find somewhere to pull over. And I figured, 20 miles to get to the welcome center, it's not a problem. We can do that. And so we got the welcome center at 1:30. We left at 2:15, and then I thought, okay, I'm going to stop at the Walmart that's at the same exit that I need to get down to the campground. But the campground, you've got to go to the right, the Walmart's to the left. Well, on my little cheat sheet here, I had written the exit number, but I didn't put the letter, and there's an ABC exit. And I was like, damn. And it wasn't until I was past the A exit, I thought, shoot, that was probably the one I was supposed to take because it had something around the Galleria. I thought, I bet that was the shopping center because it's this big outdoor mall that goes either side of the 110. And I thought, I bet that was the name of it. And so, of course, the next one then took you off somewhere else, which I had no idea where that went. And then, of course, there was the one I was supposed to take. So I thought, screw it, I'll figure it out some other way. I got plenty of protein shakes. I've got protein bars. I've got, still got some eggs. I got some hot dogs. So we're good. For a couple of days, we're good. I can always stop there on the way out if I need to. And then this time I'm going to put the Walmart at the beginning of the trip rather than at the end of the trip. Because every time I put it at the end of the trip, something happens and I end up not stopping. So we got all the way down, went all the way down the 110 to where I had to turn off onto the main strip that comes through Biloxi here. That's beach on one side, buildings on the other side. And when I turned onto that final road, I had 3 miles to go. It took us like 15 minutes to drive those 3 miles. It was bumper to bumper traffic the whole way down. And so finally got here, got checked in and everything else. All the sites here are back and they have a few pull-throughs, but I was able to pull through into this site because there was nobody in the site behind me. So she said, well, just go down here, and then when you get to the site number, she said, this one's occupied, but the one in the middle where you need to go isn't occupied, so just go and pull through there. So that made it a lot easier than backing into a space when there's nothing behind you. So we got here, and I noticed as we were turning that there was a big dog park over there. So as soon as we got set up, we came in here, had a snack, had something to drink, and then I took Zephy out for a walk, and she went ballistic in the dog park. She ran. This dog just ran. She was like, yes, a real dog park. And she was gone. And then she's fine. And I totally missed it on getting a picture of it. They have a stand that has water bowls on it. It has a little water bowl on the bottom stand. Then the middle step has a medium-sized water bottle, and then the bowl. And the large step has a large bowl. And so there's the 3 different heights. So she somehow gets behind the setup with these steps with the water bowls in the middle of each step. She somehow gets behind the step, sniffs the little one, decides she doesn't want that. So then she puts her feet on that step to get to the medium-sized bowl, decides she doesn't want that. So then she climbs up to the top, to the big bowl on the top one, and I'm just standing. I was just about on the ground laughing at her. I was like, just trying to figure out how to climb something with steps like that. There's steps with water bowls on it. So she somehow got between the fence and the water bowls and managed to get herself out of there. And then she just jumped off. It was just absolutely hilarious. And so then she goes and finds the stick that she wants to chew. And so I keep taking the stick off her and throwing it. And so she would go find it and pick it up. And then I was going, bring it here. And she would go flipping around me, like running fast, tight circles with me with a stick sticking out her mouth. Sort of like a little Groucho thing. Then she'd lay down and start chewing it again, so I'd go get it from her and throw it again. So we did this for like 20 minutes, and then she's sort of like, yeah, I'm done. And so then we went for a walk around the park, and a couple of rows over, they've got a couple of picnic pavilions, one here and one up by the office. And the picnic pavilion down here's got the picnic tables and that underneath it, but then next to it, it's got this big stone fireplace with this chimney out top, and I thought that's rather interesting. And then they have these rocking chairs sitting on either side, and you can put a big fire pit in the middle and sit there and rock in these rocking chairs with this fire pit, and it's got its own little chimney and everything. Well, that was so cool. So we did a walk around the park and then came back here, and we didn't come from that direction because when we go that way, there's a lot of dogs that started barking at her, and the owners didn't care. I'm like, really? If your dog barks, you're not telling it to shut up or anything? But there's a lot of smokers here. So I figured out that there's a lot of long-termers here who are older people who are probably down here for the casinos, because this resort has a free shuttle to one of the hotel casino places. And so there's a lot of smokers. So I can't even have the windows and the doors open because all the cigarette smoke comes in. And it's like, ugh. Sorry, I don't like cigarette smoke. So it's my only bitch about this thing is that there's a lot of smokers here, or we happen to be in an area where there's a lot of smokers, but they're all outside talking to each other and whatnot, and having their little chin wags and their little gossip sessions and all of that sort of thing. So, but I figure that you've got a lot of snowbirds here for the casinos. But anyway, that was our day today, and I am now going to get some dinner and then crash, put my feet up. I have accountability tomorrow with my accountability partner for Super Attractor for Chapter 1. So I have to finish that as well, but it's not till the afternoon, and I have the morning to finish the chapter because I don't think I will get to it tonight. So that's it from us from on the road. We've had a great day. So our driving time, let's see, I wrote it down here somewhere. Where did I write it? I could have sworn I wrote it down. 6 hours and 54 minutes. And that included the 1 hour and 45 minutes of breaks that we had. So I didn't think that was too bad. So it was actual total driving, the driving time itself was 5 hours and 9 minutes. And we only added The original trip was 208 miles, and with our little divert, it was an extra 14 miles. So that wasn't too bad. I didn't think it was too bad to be able to go around that way rather than get stuck on a narrow bridge that frequently has accidents and blocks the bridge. So I was very thankful to Jason for his advice on that one, and because I get very nervous on narrow roads where there are no shoulders. Can you imagine if it's only, I don't know if it's 2 lanes or 1 way, but can you imagine the traffic go back up behind me when I'm doing like 30 to 40 because I'm very conscious of the no shoulder next to me. Still getting used to the width. If I got my line here and I don't look right, we're okay. If I'm keeping my line here on my left-hand side, then I'm okay. But if I look at my right side, we could be in trouble when I see how close that wall is to the RV. Because then that would play on my psychic. So I was glad he gave me the alternative route to go around. So anyway, I'm out of here. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening. Have a nice restful Sunday tomorrow, and we will talk to you tomorrow night. Hej con era.